Okay, let's talk about the fractional gold supply. So today we are going to talk about the fractional gold supply. It's the big news for me, at least, in terms of stacking this past week. And what is kind of crazy about it is you can't even order quarter ounce maples, half ounce maples, 10th ounce maples anymore. They're only accepting orders for 1 ounce. It's not, oh, they'll have it in 6 to 8 weeks. There's none of that. You can only order 1 ounce maples and they'll come in a bit. You can buy other fractional gold, like the Pam Swiss bars, everything like that, but you can't order fractional maples at least, and I anticipate with the fractional maples going out, stuff like the Pam Swiss bars, all of that's gonna go pretty soon after. At least that's what I'm anticipating. If you want to be stacking fractional gold, it might be now or wait a while in order for just to be able to buy it again, because even if you want to buy it, you can't really order it from anywhere. I could get stuff like the old coins, the ducats, stuff like that, but in terms of bullion, nah, you cannot get it. It's out of stock. You can't order it to come later on. It's just unavailable. Pure and simple. But I was lucky enough to get gold for the $10 a week challenge. Pretty happy about that. Still able to find silver. The supply is definitely lower than before, but it seems to have risen a bit. But gold, that is really running out of supply, especially the fractional gold. And when I'm hearing that you can't even order fractional gold to come later on, that tells me there's shortages at the mint. They might only be making 1 ounce maples. I would love to look into this, do a video on it, so please subscribe and stay tuned for that. But I see some pretty big differences between the supply issues this year in comparison to last year. Last year, when they're out of maples, things like that, you just had to wait to get them. Now, the dealers are not even taking orders, and these are people who are trying to make as much money as possible. Last year they're saying, oh, it could be 2 to 3 months before it'll actually come into us, and then it'll still take time to ship it out to you. That's what was happening last year. I did make one purchase like that, although I really don't like waiting that long and everything, giving people my money and say, okay, just get me some gold. It'll come eventually. But in March, that was kind of the only way to be able to buy as much as I could throughout that time where we had that big dip while prices were cheap. And to me, prices were cheap, extremely cheap, all the way up till $20. It was basically laughable, the price of gold. That doesn't mean it's not undervalued now. I just don't laugh at how cheap it is now. Under $20, it was a no-brainer buying tons of silver. Just putting lots and lots of money into silver throughout that time. I saw that as a no-brainer, but now I still think it's undervalued. But I want to be making some good profit off of silver, moving into gold. I plan on swapping at 50 to 1. There's premiums and everything like that. You're not actually going to get 50 ounce. You're not going to get 1 ounce of gold for 50 ounces of silver when the ratio is 50 to 1. So right now, at this ratio, I'm kind of buying gold primarily. That could easily change because supply issues. You can't buy things that aren't there. That's one big issue for me. If gold runs out, people may turn to silver and run that out of supply. A lot of people buy gold and silver for the same reasons, the same purpose behind each metal. And I have completely different reasons for stacking gold as opposed to silver, but that's why I plan on buying gold continuously, but not silver. Because I have just two different purposes for each metal. The gloves won't let me get it, but yeah, it's kind of my thoughts on the supply issues. I don't think it's going to ease up anytime soon because a lot of people are still trying to get in. And it's not so much momentum trading or anything like that taking place. The price is cheap, people see it as cheap, and they're trying to buy a lot. And they want physical gold. It's not a pump and dump, it's not any of that. Silver, that's all over. Whatever's gonna kind of happen from here is natural movement, let's say. It's markets correcting itself from being undervalued. That's kind of the way I look at it. I'm not a financial advisor, that's just my personal opinion. But I just made those kind of statements before because when people are trying to buy in while the price is high because they're trying to make quick cash, that's a recipe for disaster. That's why I was saying, if you buy silver, make sure you're able to hold it for at least 10 years and everything. In my personal opinion. As I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but that's just the way I do it. And that kind of sums up my opinions on fractional gold and the supply issues that we're seeing. I don't think it's going to ease off anytime soon. I think it's going to stay like this for the next little while. And the supply, it may even go down from here. I personally don't think this is peak for the supply shortage in gold. If they're not accepting orders right now for quarter ounce maples, fractional maples, Pam Swiss is going to start to get increased orders, things like that from people wanting fractional gold. How do you think this bar was bought? You don't have fractional maples? Well, let's get some kind of fractional gold. And that's kind of how it goes. That's my thoughts, that's my opinions. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. If you guys think that the shortage on gold we're seeing now is going to lead to not just higher premiums for silver with the increased demand, but shortages, so you can't even buy it if you wanted it. When that is happening, and that tends to further drive up premiums and price. That's just what I noticed though. That's just the tendencies that I'm seeing throughout time. It's kind of interesting to look back at time and see peak uncertainty doesn't even seem to be the peak demand for gold. I know there's a lot of uncertainty right now, but it seems to be the peak demand comes when you have all this money printing throughout the uncertainty. Afterwards, you get the people spending money. They're going out, they feel comfortable, they think their recovery's here, they feel certain about their future. Then you get inflation hitting because there's less demand for the dollars. And because people are spending those dollars, there's less demand for it because they don't want to save the dollars. They end up back on the marketplace, they can be traded on the Forex because you're going on vacations, things like that. You're ordering things from other countries that could be only bought in their currency. That tends to devalue the dollar further, adds more supply to the Forex, drops the value of the dollar, or whatever currency you have. It doesn't need to be the dollars, it could be euros, whatever. Once that happens, people tend to turn to gold because they see inflation hitting, and it's a safe haven from inflation. That's the way it's seen throughout the years. That's kind of when gold tends to shine the brightest, same as silver. Yeah, just my thoughts, just my opinions. I see the demand going down from here, or going up from here. I don't know how loud the music will get. I don't know when the cops will show up to the party. It's going to be an interesting ride, and I'm looking forward to it. Could be a fun little roller coaster. But yeah, it sums up my thoughts, my opinions on everything when it comes to fractional gold, and I'd love to know all of your guys' opinions on the supply of all the metals, what you guys are seeing right now. If your local market is different than mine, please let me know. Every local market is different. You guys could have a lot of maples in stock, be able to get maples easily, but maybe eagles are impossible to get. Who knows? I'd love to know what's going on everywhere though. So please comment down below. Stay positive. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.